Now, some people will argue that if indeed this were premium customers, because I want to assume that eligible customers will be people who are willing to pay for power at a premium.
Absolutely.
One would have thought that the discos would have realized that these are the people who are laying the golden goose laying the golden eggs in this market, and we should prioritize them. We should treat them, we should treat them well. Why would any customer, want to be eligible when you think of all the hang-ups? The fact that even the transmission, you have to pay the transmission companies a certain cost. The fact that perhaps you would also have to pay the discos costs for ferrying the electricity to you. Why would you want to go through all of that trouble if the discos were pulling their weight in the first instance?
Now, the eligible customer regulation declaration has created an incentive, a strong incentive for you to move. Why do I say that? On two counts. One, which is the strongest, is that as an eligible customer, I have savings from not bearing the cross-subsidy burden. I am subsidizing other customers in the network. I am the employer of labor. I am also contributing to economic development in the country. So I have been burdened with cross-subsidizing the cost of other customers in the sector.
Some people will say inefficiently too, because they don't get the electricity, and many of them still have to operate, alternative sources of power.
Is that why as an eligible customer, or as a commercial and industrial customer, I should cross-subsidize the other sector?
No, I'm thinking that if for instance they do not have to pay for other alternative sources, run generators, for instance. A lot of companies still run generators.
Yes.
And they can ensure that they get power at a cheaper rate directly from the GenCos. Why wouldn't they opt for that option?
Well, that's what I'm saying to you. They are opting, they're incentivized to opt to be eligible customers because there's cost savings for them. So the incentive in the electricity, in the eligible customer regulation is for them to not pay cross-subsidies. And secondly, they have a burden. A portion of ATC and C losses, which is an aggregate of the technical, commercial, and collection losses that the distribution companies committed to reducing, a portion of that is borne by the eligible customers, that's the larger customers, which is the commercial and industrial customers.
So if I get you right, what you're saying is that they're not necessarily moving because they're going to get better service from the GenCos.
No, they're moving because of availability. They're going to have available power. So they are connected at transmission, or they connect directly to the generator. So what the eligible customer regulation has done is to enable some segment of the market to have power and others not to have power as such, and even more expensive power. Because when we did our calculation for the distribution companies to be made whole, because that is the whole essence of you issuing such thing, it's a zero-sum. It's called a zero-sum game. Zero-sum game in the sense that when you issue a regulation, everyone should be on the same level of, the same playing field. But today, because the tariffs are not fully reflective of all costs, and there's cross subsidies, it's not a level playing ground. So competition, as it were, is based on availability and not driven by price.
Can you really exonerate the discos, though? Because some people will also say they haven't done well with metering. They've needed more money to be pumped into this, into their companies to be able to up their game. They have refused to get additional capital through equity. Instead, they're looking to get more loans, and that is not coming because they have some loans that are getting bad right now, threatening to even sink the banks, from what we gather. So can you really say that the discos have pulled their weight as they ought to in this matter?
Well, I'm not here as a spokesperson for the discos, but what I can say is that when you are talking about seeking more financing into any sector or any business at all, it's always hinged on economics, the price and the product. Now, yes, you say that they're supposed to have brought equity, but equity is not free. It's also expensive. You have to prove that there's money that would follow equity in terms of repayments. Now, you have a tariff that does not fully recover my costs. So today's average industry tariff is around 30.8 naira per kilowatt hour. Now, if you adjust that to reflect the level of generation today, which is 51% below the projected amount that they ought to be getting, and you adjust that with Forex, which is at today 360, if you go to the black market, 305 in the bank, in the tariffs is at 199. So there's a big difference. So if you also update or true up the tariffs to reflect the fact that the aggregate collection and commercial and technical losses are higher as a result of what you must have been hearing about the MDAs not paying or MAN not actually paying the tariffs, all this would need to be adjusted to reflect the true cost.
Well, so, I'm afraid that we've totally run out of time, but you know, we'll definitely invite you back another day to shed a bit more light on this. But Rahila Thomas is the Country Director for Energy Markets and Rate Consultants, and she's been speaking to us in our studios here in Abuja. Thank you so much for watching this lovely Friday morning. I'm Maokwe Ogun.
Well, yes, indeed, it was a very lovely interview as well. Well, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
Thanks for watching. I am Gimba Omar.